Come sit down by the fire, let your night unwind. I'll spin you a web of tall tales. Tangled in your mind, is it real or just a fantasy? You'll never know the line. Come and hear my stories, you'll have a damn good time. He's Trailer Park Jeff, king of Lot 12, living large on stories only he can tell. In Gold Mountain Lager in a rusty old fridge, fighting raccoons nightly on the Trailer Park Ridge. He's Trailer Park Jeff, majestic mullet flowing free.
Chapter 1. Enhanced Raccoons. Now listen here, boy. What you're about to read is 100% true, verified. The government will deny it, but that just proves it's real. A few weeks had gone by since me and Carla became reluctant roommates. We were like the odd couple, if one of them was a samurai weeb and the other was an American war hero with a raccoon empire. Carl paid the bills, Carl bought the groceries, Carl even paid the internet. I told him I was covering security, which is priceless, but he didn't appreciate it. That morning he was pacing the living room, rubbing his temples like a man with a migraine made of anime. "Jeff, I can't keep paying for everything," he said. "You need a job." I snapped my logger open and leaned back in the throne. "I have a job, Carla. I sell raccoons." He froze. "That's not a job, Jeff. You haven't made a single dollar doing it. In fact, you've just been borrowing money from me for your so-called top-secret raccoon genetics program." My eyes narrowed. Damn right. Ain't nobody wants just a regular raccoon. They want enhanced raccoons. I just need more cash for the steroid serum I've been giving them. Carl's eyes went wide. "You've been giving them steroids?" He blew his top, stomping toward the back door. "That's inhumane. That's unethical. That's—" I cut him off. "Relax, Carla. I know what I'm doing. I was working in genetics before you were even born. Top secret clearance. You wouldn't understand." We walked out back where the cages rattled like a haunted zoo. Carl's jaw dropped. The raccoons were bigger, meaner. Their eyes glowed like night vision goggles. One of them flexed. I swear to Dale Earnhardt's ghost, his little bicep popped. Carl staggered back. "They weren't like this before. They're different." I grinned, proud as a papa. "Damn right. Look down there." I pointed to a cage I'd reinforced with steel bars and an old satellite dish. Inside, a monster raccoon snarled and curled its tiny fists around the bars. "That one right there can bench press 300 pounds. Carl turned pale, like he'd seen a ghost with tax paperwork. He whispered, "We've got to get rid of them, Jeff. Now, before it's too late." I cracked another logger, leaned on the cage, and smirked. "Absolutely not, Carla. Over my dead body." The raccoons hissed in unison like they'd agreed. Chapter 2. Cybernetics and Cereal. Now listen here, boy. They say the darkest hour is before the dawn. For Carla, that darkest hour hit around 2:37 a.m., when my enhanced raccoons stopped sounding like rodents and started sounding like caged elephants doing WWE out back. I was sleeping just fine, lager in my belly and sweet dreams in my head. I dreamed of little raccoon terminators marching down Main Street, taking over the earth and swearing me in as President Jeff. Red carpets, bald eagles, parades, the works. They were chanting my name while I signed bills making Gold Mountain Lager the national drink. Meanwhile, Carlo was pitter-pattering down the hall. He slid out of the back door in his recreational kimono, sneaking like a thief in the night. I peeked through the blinds. Sure enough, the moonlight hit them cages just right. Red eyes glowing, claws flexing, metal creaking under the strength of my genetically superior warriors. Carla tiptoed closer, sweat glistening on his neck. I could see it plain as day. Betrayal in his heart. He was thinking about opening them cages, letting my soldiers loose before their training was complete. He stretched out a hand, then the raccoons went full berserker. rattling, screeching, throwing themselves against the bars like a prison riot. Carla jumped 10 feet in the air, squealed like a stuck hog, and sprinted back inside. Door slammed, lock clicked, and I swear I heard him whimper. I chuckled to myself, "That's why you ain't cut out for war, Carla. No backbone." Then I rolled back over, drifted off, and went right back to signing executive orders in my dream Oval Office. By morning, I was up early, bright-eyed, working at the kitchen table. Papers, blueprints, calculator. The works. Looked like the Pentagon had moved into Lot 12. Pencil behind my ear, logger at my side, and the serious face of a man who just invented the next Manhattan Project. Carla staggered in, looking like he'd seen a ghost. He rubbed his eyes. "What even are you doing?" I didn't look up. "What do you know about cybernetics, Carla?" I asked real casual, like I hadn't just learned the word on my fried Windows 95 computer the night before. He froze. "Cybernetics? Jeff, we need to talk about those raccoons. You've got to get rid of them." I finally looked up, eyes burning, with lager-fueled clarity. "Absolutely not, Carla. We already went over this. Besides," I slapped the papers dramatic-like, "I make the rules around here." Carla disappeared for a minute. When he came back, he had that katana gleaming in his grip, face all hard like he thought he was in some kind of samurai movie. "I didn't want it to have to come to this," he said. "Jeff, get rid of those raccoons. Now." I leaned back slow, lager halfway to my lips. "Are you threatening me, Carla? 'Cause I've ended stronger men's lives than yours for lesser offenses, in top secret missions you couldn't even begin to comprehend. So why don't you put your sword away," I slid the Cap'n Crunch box across the table, "and have yourself some cereal." He froze, eyes flickering between me and the raccoons out back. Then, like the coward he is, he lowered the blade and shuffled back to his room. Me? I poured milk over my cereal, hummed a little tune, and smiled. To me, the world was perfectly under control. Chapter 3. The Canadian Betrayal. Now listen here, boy. Every great empire falls. Not because of outside enemies, but because some spineless backstabber on the inside sells you out. For Rome, it was Brutus. For me, it was Carla. Carl couldn't take it anymore. The red eyes, the muscle-bound fists, the rattling cages that shook the ground like Jurassic Park. It broke him. He tried to be an alpha once, stood there with his sword, but when push came to shove, he wilted like lettuce in the sun. So what does he do? He sneaks off, runs straight to Dale like the beta male rat he is, and snitches. "Jeff's gone mad." I can hear him whining. "He's breeding enhanced raccoons. It's dangerous. Somebody has to stop him." Next thing I know, Dale's stomping into my yard like he owns the place. Face red, clipboard in hand, he marches right past me and heads straight for the backyard. One look at the cages and his jaw drops. "Sweet mother of mercy, Jeff. What the hell are those things?" "Those," I said proudly, logger in hand, "are the future of trailer park warfare." Dale turned on me, shaking with fury. "You're out of your damn mind. Get rid of them, Jeff. Get rid of them now." I sighed, pretending to cave. Fine, I'll get rid of them. Already found homes for every last one. I even gave him the old wink and smile, only I had my fingers crossed behind my back the whole time. The moment he turned away, I stormed inside, slammed the door, and lit into Carl like a preacher on Sunday. "You dirty, whiny little backstabber. You go fighting dirty like some no-good French. Hell, even worse, you're acting like a goddamn Canadian." Carl sat there, pale, looking like a dog that just peed on the rug. He tried to explain himself, but I was mid-rant, pacing and throwing beer cans for emphasis. That's when we heard it. Clang, snap, screech. We froze. Then Dale's voice screamed from out back. Carl bolted to the window, face white as printer paper. "He's opening the cages." My logger slipped right out of my hand. "That dumb bastard." We rushed outside, but it was too late. Dale, puffed up with landlord authority, was strutting around unlatching cages one by one. There, go. Be free, little raccoons. Except these weren't little. They were monsters. Hulking, steroid-filled trash pandas with glowing eyes and fists like anvils. The moment the door swung open, they didn't scamper. They charged. One leapt on Dale's back, another ripped a trash can in half. A third stood on its hind legs like it was daring me to fight. Carl screamed. Dale shrieked. I clutched my chest. My babies! I lunged toward them, arms wide. Come back to Daddy! Instead, 30 enhanced raccoons turned on me in unison, eyes blazing, teeth bared. They hit me like a tidal wave of fur and claws, dragging me to the ground, biting, scratching, and stealing my dip can all at once. I howled. Carl and Dale tried to pull me free, swinging wildly. One raccoon uppercutted Dale so hard his clipboard went airborne. Another blocked Carl's katana strike with its bare hands. That's when it hit us, clear as day. We weren't landlords or samurai or war heroes anymore. We were survivors. And we were about to fight for our damn lives. Chapter 4. Protocol 27. Now listen here, boy. When the world's crashing down around you, that's when true leaders rise. And at Lot 12, under siege by my own enhanced raccoons, it was time to activate the one plan I swore I'd only use as a last resort. Protocol 27. We slammed the trailer door shut as claws raked across it. The whole double-wide shook with the weight of 30 steroid raccoons slamming against the siding. Windows rattled. Shadows moved across the curtains. Carl and Dale were both pale as drywall. Carl clutched his katana like a man clinging to a pool noodle in a hurricane. Dale just hugged his clipboard, muttering about liability insurance. I lowered my voice, real serious. Boys, it's time for Protocol 27. They both blinked at me, confused. What the hell is Protocol 27? Dale barked. You know, I said, narrowing my eyes. The Raccooninator. More blank stares. Sighing, I stormed to the hall closet, pushed aside a pile of dip cans, and dragged out a dusty cardboard box with a cloth over it. Like a magician, I whipped the cloth away and lifted the lid. Inside, a rickety metal contraption made from curtain rods, a toaster oven, and half a VCR. Wires dangled like spaghetti. A raccoon-shaped head I carved from a Halloween mask sat crooked on top. Dale's jaw dropped. What the hell is that supposed to be? My prototype, I said proudly. I've been studying cybernetics. Plan was to build autonomous robot raccoons to fight real raccoons if they ever got out of hand. Carl groaned. A little late for that, Jeff. I ignored him, grabbed the remote control and flipped the switch. The Raccooninator whirred to life. Lights blinking, joints squealing. It moved forward, slow, clunky, about as menacing as a shopping cart with a head cold. Still, I puffed my chest out. Behold! Salvation! Before they could stop me, I threw the front door open. The robot clattered outside. The enhanced raccoons descended instantly. Screeching, clawing, they tore it apart in seconds. Metal arms ripped off, wires shredded, mask head rolling down the steps. Sparks flew like fireworks. Carl and Dale slapped their foreheads in unison. What the hell are you doing, Jeff? You just broke our fortification. I slammed the door shut, grinning anyway. Relax, boys, we're a team. We got each other's backs. No matter what happens, we go down with this ship. Lot 12 forever. We're battle-hardened brothers. My speech cut short when one of my enhanced raccoons, Chompy, my pride and joy, busted through the window, grabbed Carl by the robe, and started dragging him out like a hostage in a war zone. Carl screamed, Jeff, help! I shrugged. You're on your own, Carla. Nice knowing you, you pathetic worm. Then I dove over my recliner, reached under the cushion, and pulled out my trusty Ruger 45. I fired off 2 rounds, missed completely, of course, but the noise scared the raccoons just enough to scatter across the trailer. I stood tall, pistol smoking. The one thing these little bastards don't have is a Ruger 45. Right then, a raccoon dropped through the ceiling vent like a Navy SEAL. It hit the floor, tackled me, and ripped the Ruger right out of my hands. The room froze as the raccoon stood up, aiming the pistol at all of us. Then, Blam! 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 It fired wildly. Bullets punching holes in the ceiling, the walls, the Velvet Elvis painting. When the clip ran dry, click, 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 Dale sighed in relief. Thank God they don't know how to reload. Seconds later, the raccoon pulled a fresh clip from its fur, slammed it home, and racked the slide like it had been training at Fort Benning. Carl went pale as a ghost. What the hell have you been teaching these things, Jeff? I grinned through the chaos. Special warfare tactics, Carla, for situations just like this. Chapter 5. Siege on Lot 12. Now listen here, boy. Some folks will tell you Vietnam was the worst jungle war in history, but that's only 'cause they ain't never lived through the night the raccoons laid siege to Lot 12. The walls shook. The windows rattled. The Enhanced Raccoons circled the trailer like hyenas around a wounded zebra. I dove behind the coffee table, Ruger in hand, shouting orders like the seasoned soldier I am. Carl, cover the flank. Dale, secure the perimeter. Eyes sharp, men. We're taking fire. Carl crouched by the window, katana trembling in his grip. They're everywhere, he muttered. Dale whimpered in the corner, hugging his clipboard like a newborn. I chambered a fresh round, smirked. One thing the government never understood, boy. Lot 12 is a fortress. We hold this line or we die trying. Now you're probably wondering how I had my Ruger back after that raccoon got a hold of it. Soon as it emptied the last clip, it tried to reload, fumbled the magazine, and I tackled the little bastard like Brian Urlacher in his prime. Reclaimed my sidearm right out of its grubby paws. You don't let vermin hold American steel, not on my watch. Outside, the raccoons got organized. Their chittering turned into a rhythm, like war drums. Then came the first scare. Screech! Tiny claws dragged across the window glass, long and slow, like Freddy Krueger warming up. We froze, watched faint red eyes slide past the curtains. Boom! Something hit the siding so hard the trailer rattled like a soda can in a paint mixer. Dale squealed. Carl jumped. I just clenched my jaw and kept my sights level. Then, silence. The kind of silence you only hear before an ambush. Carl whispered, Where did they go? The lights flickered once, twice. Then darkness swallowed the whole trailer. Outside, chewing noises, sparks, wires tearing. I slammed my fist on the counter. They cut the damn power. Black Ops tactics. These little bastards trained for this. A shadow darted across the window. Another scurried across the roof. Carl swung his katana wildly, nearly slicing Dale's clipboard clean in half. I steadied my aim, growled low, Stay frosty. That's when the first one came. Not smashing through, not charging, but crawling. From the vent above, two glowing eyes appeared, then claws, then a snout. The raccoon slid down slow, upside down, teeth bared in a nightmare grin, before it dropped right into the middle of the living room. The siege had begun. Chapter 6. Fireworks and Fury. Now listen here, boy. They say war makes strange bedfellows. But war with enhanced raccoons? That makes you do things you never thought possible. We had the living room barricaded with couch, coffee tables, even Dale's precious clipboard duct taped to the window for extra armor. The raccoons circled outside, growling, chittering, claws scraping the walls. Every so often one would slam against the siding, making the trailer shudder like a tin can in a tornado. I was on edge, scanning every angle, Ruger ready. Dale was hyperventilating, whimpering out OSHA regulations. Then I noticed Carl. He wasn't standing guard. He wasn't swinging his katana. No, the fool was sitting cross-legged on the carpet, eyes shut, hands resting on his knees. What the hell are you doing, Carla? I barked. I'm slowing my heart rate, he whispered, summoning my chi, channeling my inner warrior. My eyes twitched. We ain't got time for your anime mumbo-jumbo. These raccoons don't give a damn about your chakras. As if to prove me right, two of the furry bastards burst through the barricade and grabbed Dale by the legs. He screamed bloody murder, thrashing, clipboard flying. Jeff, help me. I don't want to die like this. My biggest fear is being ripped apart by wild animals. They dragged him closer to the door, claws tearing into the carpet. I scrambled for options, and that's when I saw it. In the corner, a cardboard box, dusty and faded, with big black letters, TNT. Totally not taxed. My fireworks stash. Bought 3 summers ago from a carny working the county fair behind the Exxon. Illegal as sin, loud as hell. I snapped my fingers. Carla, I need a diversion. Carl's eyes shot open. He let out a ridiculous yell, leapt to his feet, katana raised high, and charged the raccoons like a man possessed. Banzai! He sliced, spun, kicked, flailing like a windmill with rabies. Shockingly, it worked. The raccoons scattered just long enough for Dale to crawl back behind the barricade. I shook my head, dug in my pocket for my lighter, and sparked the first fuse. Boom! A Roman candle shot across the room, bouncing off the wall and exploding out the window. Whistles, cracks, explosions. The living room lit up like the 4th of July. The raccoons shrieked, scattering in panic. Claws scrambled against linoleum as they bolted for the exits. Amid the chaos, Carl somehow, someway, actually landed a killing blow. His katana pierced clean through the chest of one of the beasts. It let out a final screech and collapsed. Carl froze, stunned at his own power. And me? My stomach dropped. You son of a bitch, I roared. That was one of my babies. The raccoons bolted out into the trailer park, vanishing into the night. Carl staggered back, breathing hard, sword dripping. Dale sat against the wall, face pale, hair singed from fireworks, eyes wide in disbelief. This is a nightmare, Dale muttered. An ecological disaster. You've unleashed hell on Glenrose Estates. Jeff, I'm going to have to make some calls. I cracked a lager, sat back in my recliner, and wiped the sweat from my brow. Looks like another victory for Lot 12. But deep down, I knew the war had just begun. Chapter 7. Aftermath at Lot 12. Now listen here, boy. The dust of battle always settles ugly, and in the silence after a war, that's when men's true colors show. Dale was fuming. Face red, hair wild, clipboard bent clean in half from him clutching it too hard. He stormed around the wreck of my living room, stepping over shredded curtains and spent fireworks. That's it, Jeff, he spat. I've had enough. I should evict you right now. 4 months late on rent, illegal fireworks, genetically altered raccoons loose in my trailer park? This is beyond insane. I leaned back in my recliner, lager in hand, and grinned. Dale. You're looking at this all wrong. What happened here tonight wasn't a disaster. It was a field test. And if you look real close, I gestured at the claw marks and the bullet holes. Lot 12 passed with flying colors. He sputtered, about to explode, but I held up my calming hand. Come on, man. Nobody died. Well, except that one raccoon, but other than that, we held the line. We saved the park. You evict me and you lose your best defense system. He actually slowed down, his breathing evening out. The fire in his eyes dimmed, replaced by weary exasperation. He pinched the bridge of his nose and sighed. Fine, Jeff. You can stay, but I'm calling in a proper exterminator. Somebody who actually knows what they're doing. They'll hunt down every last one of these things, and you're paying the bill. I chuckled. You'll never find them, Dale. I train those raccoons in survival, resistance, and evasion. They've got escape routes, fallback positions, and tactical awareness. Hell, by now they're probably halfway to Mexico. Dale groaned. You're insane. He stomped out, muttering something about FEMA and ecological disasters. Meanwhile, Carl sat in the corner, katana across his lap, staring at the floor. His face was pale, his hands trembling. That was his first kill. On the outside, he was trying to play it off, nodding stoically like some hardened warrior of the blade. But his eyes told a different story. Haunted, panicked. He whispered to himself, trying to believe it. It wasn't my first. I've killed animals before. I am a warrior. Didn't fool me. Carl is a softy. One furry corpse and he's spiraling into a moral crisis. By morning, we were cleaning up the aftermath, sweeping broken glass, patching claw holes with duct tape, setting the couch back upright. I cracked a fresh lager, surveying the wreckage proudly. Another victory for Lot 12, I muttered. Carl just shook his head and kept sweeping, eyes still far away. And up on the roof of a nearby trailer, One of my enhanced raccoons crouched low, eyes glowing red in the dawn light, watching, waiting, plotting. The war wasn't over. Not by a long shot.
On a trailer park outlaw, hear that engine scream. They're burning up the highway like a moonshine dream. Raise your can of lager, boys, and stomp it to the floor. This is Trailer Park Jeff, and I'm running.